I came here in late 68, 69. It really struck me to see how the Aboriginal people were being treated. The young girls and young men, they used to walk with their heads down. They wouldn't hold their heads up. I've never ever denied my Aboriginality. I've lived amongst my people all my life, you know, all this time, and tried to do the best I could for the ones who were worse off than myself. Today, it's 100% better, and they know how to stand on their own 2 feet, and that gives me pride, and that's all the thanks I want from my Aboriginal people.
Nessie Skuta was born on the north coast of New South Wales in 1929. She lived on missions and went to a convent school in Grafton for 6 years. It was there that she received the education which helped her become a spokesperson for her people in the late 1960s and 70s.
And I said to myself, I said, I'm going to have to do something to try and, you know, get them up, motivate them somehow to start to do things for themselves.
For the past 20 years, she's worked tirelessly for the Aborigines of Gippsland. She was a founder of the Aboriginal Women's Movement and was elected by the people of country Victoria and Tasmania to represent them on the first National Aboriginal Congress. And in 1985 she received the Order of Australia.
A letter comes saying that I had to go to Government House to receive the Order of Australia, the OAM. Well, my legs went like jelly. I think I shook for a week. But I'm very proud of it.
Good afternoon, Aboriginal Medical Service.
One of Nessie's first achievements was to get together with 15 Aboriginal women and lobby for a health centre. In 1975 it became a reality, and today it's staffed by 2 full-time doctors and a nurse.
Would you like to sit down here and just wait for a while?
It's ironic that the person instrumental in caring for the medical welfare of the local people should today be in such failing health. At only 61 years of age, Nessie has diabetes, heart disease, and last year suffered a stroke. But the spirit that helped her win her battles with the bureaucrats still shines through.
It got so bad when Mr. Reg Worthy, who was then the, I think he was the director of the State Department of Aboriginal Affairs in the state, and he'd say, he'd have a blackboard and chalk. Blackboard and chalk. And this is what he'd say to them. Look, he says, you live there on that mission, meaning Lake Tyers. And then he'd have another circle and he'd draw a line. He said, and if you learn to behave yourself and be able to work, well, we'll move you there, on the outskirts of the town. And then he'd have another little circle, and he'd have a line following that down. He said, and if you become very good and being accepted by the community outside, he said, we'll move you there. Well, this is how they used to talk to them here. Well, I couldn't believe that until I'd gone to one meeting and I'd seen it for myself. I nearly dropped dead with shock to see that this was happening, and treating them like little kids, which they weren't little kids.
The Aborigines in the Bairnsdale region now have assets of over $2.5 million. And as her son Donald remembers, it's a far cry from the days when the family of 8 lived in this bark and tin shed on the edge of town.
Well, you know, the lifestyle we had, we didn't see anything different. We never came from a mansion. You know, we grew up on missions and travelled around, and we just accepted it as a normal way of life.
What do you feel like when you come back and look at this place now and you know that you've now got a medical centre and you've got a housing cooperative, and you look at this tin shed and that's where it all began?
Just how naive I was, how naive just the whole people were in this area. We just accepted these things. We didn't question. I suppose that's what Mum did. She probably questioned it and seen that it wasn't right and decided to do something about it.
How did the local people regard her now? How did the local Aboriginal and white people regard your mother?
I can't speak for the white people, but I know the Aboriginal people hold her in the highest esteem. Yeah, they have the utmost respect for her.
Welcome, Nessie, to the microphone.
When Stage 1 of Bairnsdale's Aboriginal Community Cultural Centre opened last Friday, it was a great moment for Nessie Skuta and her people.
Just bear with me for a little moment. But I'm so happy and glad, and my heart is filled with joy to be here today to participate in this opening of this building. It gives me great pride to see this vision of what the people really need to make the wider community to understand that Aboriginal people of this area are not forgotten. I don't want them to come up and thank me, which I've always said to them. I don't want you to come and thank me. I said, what you can do for me, for the thanks, that I was able to help you to stand on your own 2 feet and become part of the wider community. I said, that's all the thanks I want from you.